We'll call the meeting to order. Appreciate everybody being here. We do have a quorum. We'll declare the meeting open. And I ask Councilmember Sean Tiemann if he'll lead us in the pledge and invocation, please.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would bow your heads and pray with me. Almighty God, we come to you with our heads bowed and our hearts and minds open, Lord. Lord, we come to you humbly in prayer. Lord, we just ask that you watch over this community, that you watch over our Sherman team, and that you are always with our first responders as they are out doing their job to keep us all safe. Lord, I pray over this city council that you may lead, guide, and direct us in everything that we do, Lord, so that we can do your will here in Sherman. Lord, I pray that we can also represent the citizens of our districts and of this city in a way that they see pleasing. And Lord, I just pray and thank you for the opportunity to spend eternal life with you. In your Son's most holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Tiemann. Okay, Council, we have some minutes from the regular City Council meeting of September 18th and on October 2nd. Everybody have an opportunity to review those minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of September the 18th and October the 2nd.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we are to a proclamation item. There are lots of things I've been privileged to be able to do in the city of Sherman, and this is one of them. Austin College is celebrating their 175th academic year this year, and it's a very great day in the city of Sherman, and we're going to issue a proclamation to recognize this incredible achievement. The oldest academic institution under its original charter, I believe. So yeah, very, very excited about that. So I'm going to ask Dr. O'Day if you'll bring your team up if you'd like. And Council, at the conclusion of the reading of the proclamation, we're going to come down and get a picture with the Austin College folks. Okay, so the proclamation states, whereas Austin College was founded in Huntsville, Texas by the Brazos Presbytery of the Presbyterian Church on October 13, 1849, and whereas the college's charter was approved by the state of Texas on November 22, 1849, and whereas Austin College was moved to Sherman by a decree of the Brazos Presbytery in 1876 before accepting an offer from the citizens of Sherman to support the college, and whereas Austin College has grown through the decades since to become a top 100 nationally ranked liberal arts college, and whereas the college serves a diverse and talented student body from across the nation and the world, and whereas Austin College faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing students for lives of service and successful careers in the sciences, social sciences, and humanities, and whereas the college has a long history of enriching intellectual and cultural life in the Texoma region through community performances, lectures, and innovative learning, and whereas Austin College, as the oldest college in Texas still under its original charter, is celebrating its 175th academic year in 2023 to 2024 and hosting a celebration of this milestone during Homecoming and Family Weekend from November 3rd to the 5th, 2023. Now, therefore, I, David Flyler, Mayor of the City of Sherman, Texas, by the authority invested in me, do hereby recognize Austin College on their 175th academic year and on their contributions to the Sherman community. So I'm going to come down and present this proclamation. Council, if you'd like to join me.
Bye, Englewood.
And thank you to all of you. I was told that you needed at least 45 minutes of remarks from me tonight. But I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm just going to thank you on behalf of Austin College. We are honored to be part of this community. We look forward to the next 175. And we're so thankful to all of you. And all of the community for your support over the years for the college. Thank you so much. I think at this point we follow Carrie's instructions.
All right, this is where we get the survey of the background. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you all.
I told him to make it. Would anybody be offended if we did that? I said.
Okay, we are to citizen comments. Does anybody have anything to speak regarding anything on the agenda this evening? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
In the back.
Yes.
Stand up and talk there.
Yeah, come up here. If you'll state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Scott Schuler. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Realty. Public hearing says section E4, there's a rezoning for block 11 lots 16, 17, and 18 for 814 East Houston Street.
Right.
This property is currently under contract to sell, and I'm representing the buyer.
Okay.
The reason why I'm here is because I just wanted to make sure that when we rezone this thing to residential, that the lots are not merged into one giant residential lot, that they would remain 3 individual residential lots so that he can do whatever he wants with them. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And there'll be another opportunity to comment at public hearing itself. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you for those comments. Okay. We're to the consent agenda. These items are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion without discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests a specific item be discussed and voted on separately. The consent agenda includes items F9 through F22, G1, and H4. Would anybody like these broken apart for any reason?
Move to approve consent.
Second. Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. We're to the double asterisk items. These are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion subject to the staff review letter without discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests a specific item be discussed and voted on separately. The consent agenda subject to staff review letter includes items H5 through H8. Would anybody like these broken apart for any reason?
Move to approve double asterisk consent subject to the staff review letter.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we are to public hearing. We'll go ahead and open public hearing at this time. Linda, if you'll read E1 for us, please.
Ordinance 6659, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman, amending Sherman's zoning ordinance, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land consisting of 10.771 acres, being in the Elizabeth Jones Survey, abstract number 625, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, located in the 2700 to 3400 blocks of South FM 1417 Heritage Parkway, heretofore zoned M1 Light Manufacturing District, FM 1417 Overlay District, rezoning and placing the tract in the C1 Retail Business District, FM 1417 Overlay District zoning classification.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Rob?
Yeah, Mayor, Council, this item is a rezoning from an M1 light manufacturing district, and the applicant is proposing to rezone it to a C1 retail business district. Planning and Zoning heard this item on September 19th and voted 7-0 to recommend approval. Staff also recommends approval of this item.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Is there anybody here to address this item this evening? Okay. Linda, if you'll read E2 for us, please.
Ordinance 6660, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman's zoning ordinance, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land consisting of 216.22 acres, being in the Charles Carter Survey, abstract number 229, and the Henry C. Atchison Survey, abstract number 22, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, located in the 1900 to 2600 blocks of East Tuck Street. Heretofore zoned R6 Single Family Residential District, rezoning and placing the tract in the PD Planned Development of Aspen Park.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Rob?
Yeah, this is an item for a recommendation to rezone this 216 acres from R6 to a planned development district. We've been working with the applicant, staff has been working with the applicant for probably over 12 months now, and going back through comments. We've had a legal review. We've had our consultant, Half Associates, also provide review. The applicant is here and has a presentation that they would like to share at this time. If Roseanne, if you're available.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Roseanne Marquis, and I represent the owner, which is Grayson County Trust. I'm going to try to work with these. We'll see how that goes. So when we first started this originally, and I may not follow this because I didn't understand it would be for mass consumption. So when we first started this, one of the first things that we noticed was this was a 1 mile long tract, which allows us to create something a little bit more original and unique than if we had a, big, huge sprawling situation. And we reviewed everything that the city had put together from all the citizens. We saw that y'all had some really unique things to your community. We spent a lot of time here. We really loved it. We love that y'all have the bones of a city. You're on the verge of enough citizens to bring in a lot of community needs. For example, you're very close to being able to bring in a lot of funding for things, for example, public transit and things like that. And then also y'all have a unique situation in that you're almost sandwiched with an aging population and then a young population. And it seemed to us that everybody is addressing this high-earning suburban dwelling population on the west side, and nobody's really addressing the missing part, which is the workforce, the nurses, the technicians that are going to be working in these places. What you already have a lot of these places like Emerson, I think it's Fisher, I forget what it's called. But, nobody's really addressing their needs, and then nobody's addressing the needs of the people who are going to be downsizing very soon. And so we saw that opportunity. And then we also saw an opportunity to bring in some services that weren't being provided on the east side by bringing in the unique style that we've created will allow for us to provide things like small grocery stores, mom and pop shops that are missing over there right now. And so really the design is a little bit unique in that we've taken away a lot of the things that are going to be prominent on the more prestigious west side and tried to create something that was unique to the east side that will really get the attention of the builders that are over there and get them over here to the east side. Anyway, so if you want to go to the next page, maybe I'll be able to move on. Okay. So one of the things that we've done here is we've created pocket parks throughout to make it to where, because you do have a lot of people who have complained of the inability to get to doctor's offices and things like that, which they've talked about that they don't want to drive anymore. They don't want to have to drive to the doctor's office. It's very, very hard to get across 75 to get to the doctor's offices. It gives us a clue that a lot of people are wanting to walk places. And then also that they can't go very far. So what we've created is pocket parks, which are all 5 minutes apart, so that if somebody wants to go walk, take a step, sit down, wait a little while, go again, they can. And then I'm not going in very good order, I apologize. anyway, so we've created 100% walkable community there. And that's really been the goal there, is to make it to where it's just 100% walkable, where whatever you need, all your needs are met downstairs. You know, we're not creating a shopping destination. We're creating a kind of a live, work, play destination just for the local community. You can go to the next one. We really limited some of the stuff that's in here. So we haven't broken any mold. We haven't done anything particularly unique, but I have noticed that when people discuss it, they kind of get off on the idea that we're creating a shopping destination. That's really not what we're creating. We're creating a living destination, if that makes sense. And so we found that there's a risk if we go above 15% on the retail. So, I mean, we've spent a whole year working on this, making sure that we got the right mix and doing the studies on the different mixed use developments. And we found that the studies have shown that when you go over 15%, you're risking blight. We really don't want to risk any blight on that east side. We want to create jobs. We don't want to create, any risk that if you're living there, you don't want to live above any sort of vacancy. The nice thing about it, too, that we saw was that it could draw not a lot of places for people who live there right now to work if you're a young teenager. You know, there's not an opportunity for you to go anywhere right now. I mean, there's parks and things, but there's not an opportunity for you to go for work. And so we think this will create some of that. And so what we've done is we've also removed some of the barriers so that you'll have more of a flat situation to where the people from the east side, the adjacent neighborhood, can enjoy it as well. And then, here on the bottom, you'll see there's this new movement. The bottom right is a Publix grocery store, which is a miniature grocery store instead of like a 40,000 square foot grocery store. A lot of the grocery stores have moved to these micro grocery stores. And then next to it, it's hard to see, but that's actually an urgent care that the community can just go downstairs and walk to. And then on the left is Trader Joe's. You know, they've also gotten into this, creating like 4,000 square foot grocery stores. And Target's in on it. You know, they're all really enjoying this small, more boutique style grocery store. I think I covered that one. This is just some examples of style, just so you can kind of get the feel for it, because it's different from what a lot of people are used to. The parking is no longer prominent. The walking is really prominent. It makes it to where you don't have to, everybody doesn't have to have a car. You know, you can have one car in the family rather than two. This is just an example of the variation. We've created a lot of, I guess you call it articulation, and this is something that comes in on your 40-foot wide lots. This is important. Whenever you have an articulation, when you have a change, it makes it to where people are willing to walk. I don't know if y'all have experienced that when you're walking and you're just walking along a long brick wall, you go, oh, when's this going to end? So we've created a lot of variation so that there's a continual change, so people will be motivated to continue walking. And I guess you can keep going. Another thing that we focused on, we know that traffic is a real issue in the city. I mean, it's a huge issue. And so we know that 82 over here up at the top is a little bit lacking right now. So the far right here, we have the red on our design there. That's actually commercial, and the remaining is residential. With the brown is going to be residential with retail on the bottom, or possibly some office space. But as you see, that will make it to where it will begin to activate 82 rather than bringing people in as a destination, rather than creating a destination that people are traveling into the neighborhood over here. Instead, the real activity, high activity levels there on the red. Otherwise, when you're in the tannish zone there in the middle, that would be more of a walkable area. There's no desire to have a lot of people coming into the neighborhood, but of course there will be some attraction because there'll be restaurants and things, but they can park in the red up on the right and walk through, because it is, I mean, you're talking about from one side to the next is a 15-minute walk. And we really think that also will create some energy for the neighborhoods adjacent as well. I think that's maybe it. This is, Kimley Horn was our designer. I think that might be it. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that
I think I covered
presentation.
everything. Y'all make me anxious. There's so many of you looking
Okay.
at me.
We'll get with you in just a few moments if we have any questions.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Mayor, would I be able to ask on this, that The Planning and Zoning Commission voted to approve this 7-0.
Okay.
Staff is recommending to have the public hearing, obviously, tonight, but to table this until the next council meeting to vote
Okay.
on the ordinance.
Very good. Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else to speak on this item tonight? Okay. Not, Linda, if you'll read E3 for us, please.
Ordinance 6661, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman's zoning ordinance, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land consisting of 19.950 acres, being a part of the Samuel M. McLaughlin Survey, abstract number 811, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, located at 2305 and 2615 Greystone Road, heretofore zoned R6 Single Family Residential District, rezoning and placing the tract in the R4 Single Family Residential District zoning classification.
Thank you, Linda. Rob?
This item is a rezoning from the current zoning R6 to a recommended zoning of R4. The applicant received a specific use permit back in July of 2022 for a patio homes, of which they had planned 99 lots being developed at this location. Then we've updated our zoning ordinance to allow for R4 zoning, and so the applicant wishes to get this property rezoned to match what they had been approved for the SUP. Planning and Zoning heard this item, recommended approval, 7-0, and staff also recommends approval for this item.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to speak on this item this evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name's Taryn Berthoff, and my address is 118 West Chestnut Street, Denison, Texas 75021. To echo what Rob just said, I came in roughly a year ago to rezone this into R6 with 40-foot, 50-foot lots under an SUP. At that time, there wasn't an R4 zoning, and so this request is to update the site to be in line with Sherman's new zoning and get rid of the outdated SUP, which is going to do a couple things. It'll minimize confusion between the city and us as developers. It'll also minimize confusion with future residents having to refer to an outdated SUP. The other thing that this does, Rob, do you by any chance have the site plan that okay.
We don't have it available.
With the older SUP, there were several corner clips off of the ends of the lots where they would have to be HOA lots. In this rendition, going to R4, those corner lots go away, which minimizes some of the HOA cost, and they're just very bizarre cutout lots. And we also actually reduced our lot count to 96 in this updated rendition. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Taryn.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak on this item? Okay. If not, Linda, if you'll read E4 for us, please.
Ordinance 6662, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman zoning's ordinance, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land being in Block 11, Lots 16 through 18, Chapin's First Edition, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, located at 814 East Houston Street, heretofore zoned C1 Retail Business District, rezoning and placing the tract in the R6 Single Family Residential District zoning classification.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, this is an item for rezoning from C1 district to an R6 district to build single-family residential. Planning and Zoning heard this item on September 19th, voted 7-0 to recommend approval, and staff also recommends approval of this rezoning.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Okay. If not, Linda, will you read E5 for us, please?
Ordinance 6663, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman zoning ordinance, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land consisting of 0.173 acres in the J.B. McInerney Survey, abstract number 763, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, located at 819 North Walnut Street, heretofore zoned MF 30 Multifamily Residential District, rezoning and placing the tract in the R5 Single Family Residential District zoning classification.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Rob?
Yeah, the applicant would like to construct a single-family home on this lot. It's currently zoned MF30. They need to rezone it to R5. To be able to do that, Planning and Zoning heard this item September, voted 7-0 to approve, and staff also recommends to approve.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Okay. Not, Linda, will you read E6, 7, and 8 together, please?
Ordinance 6664, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman zoning ordinance Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land, Tract 1, consisting of 64.841 acres in the David Harrison Survey, Abstract Number 587, the Williams Milligan Survey, Abstract Number 875, and the Daniel C. Shelp Survey, Abstract Number 1097, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas. Located in the 2801 block of Blue Flame Road and the 3000 block of FM 691. Heretofore zoned an R6 single-family residential district, rezoning and placing the tract in the C1 retail business district classification. Ordinance 6665. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman zoning ordinance Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land, Tract 2, consisting of 24.000 acres in the David Harrison Survey, Abstract Number 587, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas. Located in the 2801 block of Blue Flame Road and the 3000 block of FM 691. Heretofore zoned an R6 single-family residential district, rezoning and placing the tract in the R4 single-family residential district classification. Ordinance 6666, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman zoning ordinance Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land, Tract 3, consisting of 16.400 acres in the David Harrison Survey, Abstract Number 587, and the Daniel C. Shelp Survey, Abstract Number 1097, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas. Located in the 2801 block of Blue Flame Road and the 3000 block of FM 691. Heretofore zoned an R6 single-family residential district, rezoning and placing the tract in the MF15 multifamily residential district classification.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Rob?
This, Mayor, Council, this item is a mixed-use development from the applicant. They have 3 different tracts that they would like to rezone. The base zoning is all currently R6. The 60 acres along 691, they would like to rezone to C1, as is visible on the screen. The second tract, they would like to rezone it to R4 to build about 65 40-foot lots. And then the final one is a rezoning to MF15 to construct a build-to-rent, single-family for rent. Planning and Zoning heard all 3 of these items at the September 19th meeting and recommended approval 7-0. Staff recommends approval of the C1, the R4, but recommends to deny the FM15 as we are in the middle of zoning ordinance rewrite regarding build-to-rent items.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Planner, members of council. My name is David Califer with Peloton Land Solutions, 11,000 Frisco Street, Suite 400, Frisco, Texas. Representing all 3 of the items, 6 through 8. We have no issue about C1 and the R4. However, the M15, we've been working at this for quite a while, and even though we're showing the build-to-rent type product, we are actually looking at doing a multifamily product there. One of the reasons why that tract is so large, it's actually only developable about half that. From Blue Flame over to the railroad, there's about a 20-foot drop where if you can see the about halfway through the sort of the tail, and I don't have a, here we go. We don't have, okay.
Here you go, right here. Just don't point at airplanes.
About right here. Dang, it works. About right here. This is a drainage area that goes all the way up through here and then continues on to the floodplain up north. Half our site, we're not even going to be able to develop, so it'll remain wooded. This is the only area. Both open spaces right through here is about a total of 6 acres. So we would request that, it be approved tonight. We do understand that staff's revising the MF15 standards due to the build-to-rent product that's coming up here. But our site's so small, we're not going to be able to do a whole lot of it. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else to speak on this item? Okay, if not, Linda, if you read E9 for us, please.
Ordinance 6667, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Sherman zoning ordinance Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, to rezone a tract of land consisting of 30.905 acres in the J.B. McInerney Survey, abstract number 763, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, located in the 1900 block of West Washington Street. Heretofore zoned R6 Single Family Residential District, rezoning and placing the tract in the R5 Single Family Residential District zoning classification.
All right, Rob?
Yeah, this is a rezoning from R6 to R5. The developer Wildwood Homes would like to build 62 lots on this property. There was one opposition letter that we received, and there was a couple opposition comments that were made at the meeting on September 19th, but P&Z voted 7-0 to approve. Staff also recommends approval of this zone change.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening?
Mayor, Council, how are y'all?
Brian.
Brian Blagg with Wildwood Homes, 618 Pikes Place. We're the developer of Washington Meadows Phase 1 and 2. Been in about a 3-year conversation with the church for this land and finally came to complete terms. So under contract, came through with zoning. Would like to go from R6 to R5, but our lot sizes will be 54 feet wide by 110 deep. So it just fits really well with our product. It'll be the same product that's in Phase 1 and 2, same houses, just a continuation of Denson Drive and Wildwood Way to form 62 lots. Rob, from my memory, those two in opposition, if that's what they're classified, but they really just had questions about the hike and bike and the railroad. So don't know if it was an opposition, but they just wanted to know about the railroad, because on the south side is the old railroad embankment on the south boundary. So I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else to speak on this item? Okay, if not, we're going to close public hearing. And also, Council, we have ordinance number 6656 that has already been read and had its public hearing, so we'll need to untable that item for consideration as well. So does anybody want to make a motion to untable ordinance 6656?
I'll make a motion that we untable ordinance 6656.
A second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. All right, at this time, we'll consider the adoption of the ordinances. Council, questions, comments? Motions?
There's so many. There's about 400 acres worth.
I'm gonna start backwards and go back to Brian, who was just up here. So on your 54-foot lots, and that's a R5. Are you guys still contributing the 10% open space for the R5 designation for that property?
Yes,
they are. So the equivalent of a 60-foot lot, just 10% of it's going to be open space instead of in the lots themselves.
Correct. On our west side, pretty much where the arrow is subject property, that's the overhead power line. So that's a 100-foot wide power line right of way. So hoping, are we allowed to use any of that?
With an encroachment easement from Encore.
Okay. And then we'll be dedicating additional hike and bike trail. So we
gotcha
on the south side. So the entire length. And then there's an asterisk because there's some adverse possession claims from the homeowners on Archer and Sandra. So I'm trying to work that out right now. But yay, real estate.
Okay.
We'd be able to keep any of those trees. It looks like about 33% of its trees. I know some of those are junk trees, but the further southern trees, I think is that part of the green space that you're going to try to keep some of those, or are you going to knock them all?
Definitely. So everything in the electric right of way, it'll stay. I just got to connect Wildwood Way through. So whatever's needed for the right of way of Wildwood Way. And then just like we did on Wildwood in phase 2, there were trees down by the railroad that we were able to keep in the backyards of those homes, but we will save what's definitely in the electric right of way and what's in the backyards on the south side.
Answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions, council?
Brian, I've got a question for you. And the gentleman on E8 was requesting the multi MF15 for the build to rent. Can we restrict that? Granting the MF15 with the restriction on no build to rent?
No, that wouldn't be an option because the request before you tonight is a straight zone request to MF15, and there wouldn't be an ability to put conditions or modify that straight zone request.
Okay, thank you.
But to their point, they do want to build BTR on it, right? Build to rent. That is the.
Come on.
Yeah, that is
Yes,
the
please.
plan.
Not a whole.
Because I thought I heard you say that you weren't, and then I thought
That is the plan, but we went back and looked. We only have maybe 20 units. So because of the undevelopable, or the half of the property is undevelopable. And so looking at it, we're actually going to go back and take a look at would multifamily at a 15 density be more appropriate, which would marry up with what's the C1. Our goal for the C1 is to eventually come back with a possible SUP to do a mixed use with retail on the bottom, multifamily on the top. That's why we showed the buildings the way we did in the C1. So the buildings adjacent to sort of the spine road have a retail aspect to them with multifamily up on top, whereas the MF15 would just be strictly residential.
Thanks for the clarification.
I got a question quickly. Sorry, I just thought about this. You mentioned that you're not going to be able to use the bottom part of that property.
So the so the only area that's actually high ground is right here.
Okay.
And we've shown that as for sale lots, one residential lot. There isn't anything we can do with all the setbacks that's required for MF15. And then obviously the trail. So all of this area right here is undevelopable.
Can it be like a green area, like a park kind of deal?
It would be, however, it does flood. Because of the drainage, all of this area drains this direction back up through here, and it actually serpentines through here and then goes off to the main tributary.
Maybe a water park? No.
Lazy River? I don't know. But there are a lot of hardwood trees down there, and so we wouldn't want to disturb that.
That's true. Right. Thanks.
Well, I think I'll take what I think is probably a fairly easy one, 6662. All righty. And that one, I'd like to make a motion for approval of 6662.
Okay.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, then I'll move on and I'll pick another one. That
Okay.
6661.
Okay.
Since that's just cleaning up wording and seems to be fitting in, then I make a motion that we approve 6661.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I make a motion that we table 6660.
Second.
Okay.
Sorry. Be
All
faster.
in favor of tabling that item?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council.
Can I ask a question before we keep going?
Yes.
Rob, if we back to, and I should have asked this a second ago, back to E6, which is 6664 C1. So if we approve C1, and the goal is to ultimately go back to multifamily or mixed use. What else, if they don't come back with a SUP, what are we approving for C1?
You would be approving the ability for them to develop that property as retail.
Just retail?
Commercial.
Okay. But that's not the ultimate goal, is to possibly come back with something else.
It depends on the end user.
Okay.
What we're proposing is
Okay. This whole section right here is kind of the gateway into Sherman from the north. And I'm personally not super excited about going to 40-foot lots in there. I think it should remain 60 in just my opinion. And the C1 we'd have to see. And then the build to rent, we're still so trying to figure that out. But my personal opinion, I just wanted to make that statement, is I'd prefer to keep them at R6 and R4, but just wanted to make that public.
Rob, for clarification, tell me, is an RC1, does it allow second story multifamily currently?
It does. We just not as a permitted use,
okay,
but we recently updated our zoning ordinance to allow it for an SUP.
Gotcha. For
multifamily on the second through fourth floors of a commercial property.
I thought that might have been the case. Okay. And how fast do you think that we will have some zoning changes back to us for the MF15 in regards to build to rent?
We're anticipating that coming back to you on the first meeting in November with changes.
So would it be appropriate to table this item on 6666 or?
I'll let our city attorney respond to that.
You can certainly move to table. Yeah, that would be an option. Depending on how the MF15 district changes between now and then, that may affect this request. But I don't think we know yet how MF15 district regulations might change or might not change.
Yeah.
So
I just think preventing them from having to go back through the entire process if it's going to change. And
I mean, I think pending whatever outcome is on the MF15 discussions about build to rent and any changes you might make, you could still potentially take action on that request as presented to you, but it may be that it's just it can't move forward with those new changes. It's just
so Ryan, if they table this and changes are made to MF15, is the application of the changes, is it effective as of the date that the zoning is approved or the date of the application from the applicant?
Right. So this gets into the weeds a bit, but there is no vested rights in zoning. And so it depends in part on how many changes, the significance of the changes. So I hesitate to answer the question without knowing exactly what those changes are.
But it's possible, though, that if they decided to table it versus deny it, is there a scenario where some of the changes that we intend to make and would make on the November whatever meeting wouldn't apply to this? Or they all would apply, or you're saying don't have enough information, so can't answer?
We need to see what they are.
So that's one risk. Without knowing that answer, that's one risk of tabling it versus just
you could choose to deny
it, and then they would still come back for something, and then they would be at that point they would be under whatever regulation gets adopted under MF.
Sounds cleaner.
Okay, and they can bring it back as MF15 after the change happens in November. They don't have a wait period of a year. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to table them and then come back and deny them and then push them further back to make a change.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll move to deny E8.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second, please. Thank you.
On E6, 6664, I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council.
And okay, go ahead. I was going to pick another one, move on, make a motion on 6667.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council.
Did we do E1 6659?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay,
I've not done that one.
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council.
All right.
We've got three more. 6663, 5, and
5,
6.
Yeah, we got E5.
E5 too.
Yeah.
And you said 5 and what, David? 3, 5?
6663, 6665, and 6656.
Okay.
E5, 7, and
Can you give us some clarification on 56? I know we took that at our last meeting. Or just give us a refresher.
We had questions
on the E10.
Yeah.
Yeah, the applicant is here. This was tabled at the last, at the meeting in September for city council. The applicant was not present at the time and is here to answer questions. It was a recommendation for rezoning from a C1 and an R6 district to a townhome district. The applicant would like to build 9 townhomes that would front on Travis Street. There were some opposition from surrounding neighbors at the item for P&Z. However, staff does recommend approval because it would be an improvement to that site as it currently exists. Planning and zoning voted on August 22nd to approve 4-2.
You all were concerned about rear.
If I recall,
the rear entry.
the questions was about rear entry.
Parking.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Come up
please.
Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Luis Moran at 910 South Travis Street here in Sherman. And this is a property that we acquired. It's kind of like an old building. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a for sale sign on it.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I was out of town last time. And I wasn't present. So.
So our question was about the rear parking and how that's going to work.
Yes, sir. I had a meeting with the engineering department, and we talked about perhaps having a private entrance in back of the 4 lots that are to the Staples Road, and that would be managed by the 4 individual lots.
Gotcha.
So, and currently all the parking for the side is in the rear, right?
Yes, sir.
All of it. And go ahead.
We're thinking about doing rear entrance garages, so they would come in from the back end. So there's no access to the front on Travis. So keep that.
Okay, that's the concern, is the amount of parking on Travis Street.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, that they have another location to park, so.
And the maintenance of the alley, I believe, was a big concern because the city doesn't maintain those alleys.
No.
And so, from Staples all the way to the end of Lot 9, and that alleyway would likely have to be maintained.
By the
by the
owners.
property owner.
Yeah. So we're thinking about doing like an HOA for those 4 individual lots. So.
Did we talk last time, Rob, about or Robbie about actually deeding the alleyway over? If that was a thing that we could do, that would make that.
I don't know. I don't know if there are utilities or any things that run in the alley.
You have to deed it to either half of the.
I got you.
Of the alleys. That would make it. Oh, so the other
That's
half.
useful.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he has to maintain it, I mean, for everyone else on that street, hooray for them, because now they get
Yeah.
a great deal on a nice maintained alley. If the parking's in the rear, that was the only concern that I had, and how that was going to work.
Just make sure that the people that are purchasing the townhomes are aware that we are not maintaining the alleyway for them.
Of course. Yes.
So.
How many parking spots will be in the back?
In the back, so each of them would have a garage for 2 cars. So 2-car garage in the back.
Like that. Good.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve 6656.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council.
We still have.
I'll make a motion to approve 6663, 6665.
Okay,
Second.
motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay on 6665.
One nay. Motion passes. Thank you, council. All right, we're to F1. Linda, if you'll read F1 for us, please.
Resolution 7183, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman approving the Grayson Central Appraisal District's resolution number 2023-02 to construct or renovate a building or other improvements as necessary to establish and operate the appraisal office.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Mary?
Good evening. On September 26th, the Grayson County Appraisal District approved a resolution to renovate their current location at 512 North Travis. They budgeted for this renovation. There's no additional cost to the taxing entities outside of what's already in their approved budget. So to proceed with the renovation, they need 3/4 of the taxing units to vote to approve the proposal. So that's what this resolution is. It's giving them the approval to go ahead with their improvements. They estimate they won't be above about $700,000. Give them some needed space to extend the life of the facility.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Council, questions?
Will any money come out of our pockets for this? There shouldn't be. I'm just making that.
Well, they have a budget every year that's approved, and it's already included in their budget. So we already have the set amount we're going to pay the appraisal district for this year, and that won't change as a result of approving
Okay.
resolution.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Please note, as for transparency purposes, I did not vote on that item. All right, Linda, if you'll read F2, F3, and F4 together, please.
Resolution 7184, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman approving the Greater Texoma Utility Authority's intention to award the guaranteed maximum price ABC, GMP ABC, to Kiewit Water Facilities South Company for the South Wastewater Treatment Plant MBR project. Resolution 7185, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman approving the Greater Texoma Utility Authority's intention to award the membrane biological reactor equipment bid to Viola Water Technologies and Solutions for the South Wastewater Treatment Plant. Resolution 7186, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman approving the Greater Texoma Utility Authority's intention to award pre-selection of electrical equipment to Elliott Electric Supply Incorporated for the South Wastewater Treatment Plant MBR project.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening, Tom. Come tell us about your exciting projects.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So this project is an amendment to the Kiewit contract, who we've recently procured as our CMARC contractor for the wastewater treatment plant. They have proposed an amendment to their contract for GMP-A, GMP-B, and GMP-C as a first part of their takeoff. As a part of that, these three bid packages will allow the contractor to proceed with payment requests for services falling into one of these three categories in the amount of $54 million, summing to the amount of $54 million. Currently, the work that will follow under this approval will be agenda items F3 and F4. They lie in this approval, if so approved. That being the Veolia, MBR, and the electrical pre-procurement at the wastewater treatment plant. So those two items will be undertaken with this. This project was approved earlier today by the GTOA contingent on the City of Sherman approval. So, if you have any questions, be happy to answer.
My question is timeline related. I know we're in a race to finish this before they finish theirs.
Right. Yeah, no, they're a very accelerated path, and we have some representatives from Kiewit, Colin and Kyle. I believe Colin said that you guys were going to get started Thursday. So they're going to get started right away. Some of the general conditions, the work they'll be doing, everything from setting up the first parking lot, bringing in porta potties, putting up fences. The list is pretty long.
Okay. Yeah. I move to approve F2, F3, and F4 is written.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Linda, if you'll read F5 for us, please.
Resolution 7187, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman renaming Holly Avenue West Moore Street from Holly Avenue to FM 1417 and Flannery Road from FM 1417 to 5120 Flannery Road to Interurban Parkway.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Wayne, good evening.
Evening, Mayor, Council. This won't cost $54 million. Until we get to building. On the city master thoroughfare plan and county thoroughfare plan is a proposed 4-lane divided roadway that goes from Center Road all the way down to Highway 902 and beyond. We have recently done an extension of West Moore Street from 1417, from Travis Street down to 1417, lines up with Flannery Road. Well, usually you don't like to have, a name change on the same street from say Westmore to Flannery. So we were talking about what do we call this street? Maybe call it Flannery or something like that. But upon a bunch of research, discovered that the old interurban rail, which used to go between Sherman and Denison and eventually down to Dallas, its alignment runs parallel to Westmore, crosses the new extension parallel to Flannery, and our proposed alignment down to Shepherd's Place, and in through part of Shepherd's Place is where the old rail used to be. So we're proposing to commemorate and honor that historical rail by renaming Westmore, this little piece of Holly Road and Flannery, to Interurban Parkway.
Council, questions about the name?
Residents have been notified of the changes. I've had one resident with questions, and they were more interested about the road improvements.
All right. So there were some questions also around that pertaining to address changes, and did we make that a little more user friendly for them so that when the address changes and the road name change, because that's going to affect them.
Are there
right?
How many houses are on Moore specifically that have a Moore address?
Well, on Moore Street,
I think it affects like 4.
Yeah, Moore Street, there's 4 or 5 addresses. On Flannery, there's a half dozen. I mean, we've got about a dozen addressed.
Right.
So when we change this, Moore will be no more?
More will be no more. That part of Moore.
That part of Moore will be no more.
Very good.
Bad joke. Some of Moore Street here and on the other side of 75 will remain, so there would just be less Moore.
Less Moore.
So if we make the approval tonight, when will this change take effect?
Technically, it takes effect tomorrow, but I mean, there's coordination with the postmaster and notification to the residents and paperwork that has to be worked out.
We're gonna work there with the postmaster and that group of folk that's got some issues with us changing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. However, just want to make sure that we make that a little easier for them.
And just like when you change your move and you got a new address, they'll essentially have a forwarding address.
Right.
That is their address.
Which is the same location.
It's the same location, just a different name. Okay.
Right.
Before we get any more jokes, I'm going to move to approve 7187.
Second.
Done.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Wayne. All right, Linda, if you'll read F6 for us, please.
Resolution 7188, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman approving the Greater Texoma Utility Authority to enter into an agreement with M&M Industrial Control Service Incorporated for the purchase and installation of the equipment, programming, and controls for the water treatment plant EDR rehabilitation project.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Good evening, Jim.
How you doing, Mayor, Council?
Hey, Jim.
So this project is a continuation of our rehab projects out at the water plant. Back in July, the council approved the rehab for the EDR system with all new EDRs. This part of the project will be to hire or to approve GTUA to authorize an agreement with the programmer and designer of all the controls and the systems to go along with those EDR units.
All right, Ansel, any questions on this item?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Jim, for your hard work out there. All right, Linda, if you'll read F7 for us.
Resolution 7189, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing the purchase of a taped trunking radio system for the City of Sherman Public Safety from Stoltz under buy board contract number 696-23/H-GACRA 05-21.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Good evening, Sean.
Evening, Council. This will modernize and update our existing radio systems. We'll keep the old system, but it'll allow us to improve communication, security, allow more concurrent users to talk at the same time. So, in addition, Moses has some things he can speak to on.
Yeah, Mayor, City Council. So we're just looking at the upgrading our new radio system. It essentially is going to increase the safety of our public safety personnel by multiple facets. One of them is going to be when I have more channels, so more communication groups. Right now, we're just very limited to where we can talk and how to talk. This will also allow various talk paths. So even if someone's keying up or anything like that, it won't close the whole radio system down. Dispatch can still get through. Dispatch can still send emergency alerts back and forth. So it'll be a multiple pathway communication system. And this is just the best practice in public safety. This is just the new generation in radios, is what people are moving to. And so this is the direction that the city that just needs to go, that we need to start moving to, just because it'll be the new system. Now, it is going to be a redundancy in communication because for a while, we are going to maintain our old communication system. So we'll still be able to talk to all the groups around us, to all the small towns in the county. And this will be just a system we're going to be upgrading to. And it will allow us to do large scale events and support the growth, and even allow for industry growth or industry to tie into it if they wish. So.
Sean, when's the last time we updated our trunking radio systems?
We have not had a trunking radio system. We've had a conventional radio system. So this is moving us into a new technology.
Move to approve 7189.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Linda, if you read F8 for us. Don't go away.
Don't go away.
Resolution 7190, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing the purchase of upgrades to existing radios for connecting to trunking system for the City of Sherman public safety equipment for Motorola under Texas Department of Information Resources contract number 22918-DIR-TSO-14101.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. This is just a continuation. This is a radio.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this allows us to upgrade existing equipment to utilize the previous.
And how long will this take once we approve this? And I know that you aren't going to have it and then take it out of the box tomorrow, but is it a long process or?
I would envision probably 6 months.
Okay, thank you.
Move to approve 7190.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. All right, we are to other business. Receive presentation from Police Sergeant Brett Mullen on Police Department's annual Halloween event, Fright Fest. Good evening, Sergeant Mullen.
Mr. Mayor, Council. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come speak with you all again. So this year's Fright Fest is set to take place on October 30th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at Pecan Grove Athletic Complex. For those who don't know, Fright Fest started 22 years ago in 2001 after the 9/11 attacks to give their families a safe place for their kids to come trick or treat. Throughout the years, the event has grown into a massively successful event that today draws up to 2,000 to 3,000 people every year. I believe last year, even considering the rain and the location change, we still had about over 1,300 show up for that. But due to this growth and success, the event was moved in 2021 from the municipal grounds to the Pecan Grove Athletic Complex, which will allow for the event to grow for years to come. So this year, we hope to have over 50 vendors attend to hand out candy, and we already have several vendors planning to set up haunted houses as part of their displays. A new addition to the event will be having animal control, bringing out the adoption trailer to show off some of the available animals that are available for adoption. And we have Platinum Events Company booked to DJ the event as well as provide a photo booth for trick-or-treaters. So we're looking forward to another successful Fright Fest and hope to have another huge turnout.
Great. Awesome. Great. This is always a fun event. Thank you all for putting that on for us.
Thank you.
All right, this time we'll receive an update from Pape Dawson Engineers Incorporated for the City of Sherman Major Infrastructure Improvements Project.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. I'm Toby Flynn. Next slide, please. So the purpose of this is to kind of really talk about the program, the infrastructure that's ongoing right now, which includes design and starting construction, and then also ongoing design into the future. I will tell you, starting off, your staff, starting with the city manager, Robbie, and his staff of engineers have been completely engaging. They are extremely conscientious and professional, very helpful in this very fast-paced program. So I'll start off with some orientation here. Right here is Lake Texoma, and the focus is really to increase the water supply and efficiency for both the community and the industries. For orientation, TI complex is somewhere down here. We have the existing water treatment plant here with Jim Cross. We have the water treatment plant here, the future south membrane wastewater treatment plant here, elevated storage tank here, and Shepherd Drive here. This is the 36-inch line that will connect and bring water down to the industries. Again, the focus is to increase the capacity by over 20 million gallons per day. To do that creates waste or effluent. And so what's going to happen here is that the effluent from the existing water treatment plant will now find its way not down to the wastewater treatment plant, but will find its way all the way back up to Lake Texoma through an earth channel. Now, what will happen is that we will increase the supply to our wastewater treatment plant from industry over here with Global Wafers and TI over to the South NBR2. So it's not only increasing capacity, but it's also increasing the level and toxicity of that effluent. So that's the purpose of the South NBR. The total program for this, total cost of this program, including design and construction, is $650 million. So everything you see up here is $650 million worth of projects that your staff is managing, also managing a city behind it, which I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing a phenomenal job. Next slide. Okay, this is how the team is arrayed. We have the city up here. We have the program management, which is Pape Dawson, and we have the design consultants to the left and current active construction teams to the right. This is the active team right now. We have a total of 10 projects that will happen. This is only the existing team right now that's under contract. Next slide. Okay, this is a rundown to show you what is off plan and what is on plan. So currently, everything that is supposed to be on plan is on plan. There is one project, and that's the terminal storage reservoir that is currently still under study, and that's on hold right now. But everything else in terms of design that has not been let into construction is on plan right now. Any questions on this slide? Okay, next slide. All right, so this is where the fun begins. This is construction. So the two that I really want you to pay attention to, or three, are the 36-inch water main, the concentrate discharge, and the South NBR. The concentrate discharge is important because we can't produce more water without getting rid of that water. And that's where Jim Cross's team comes into play. The 36-inch water main brings the water down to the industry and to the city of Sherman and to the community. And then the South NBR treats the water from industry. So we have the 36, we have the concentrate, and the South NBR. Everything else really supports those critical lines of effort. All of those are on plan right now. Kiewit, as you know, has signed up. They've started early procurement. That is going to be the most complex project in this entire program. It has an extremely aggressive schedule. Kiewit is one of the nation's best contractors. So we're really happy to have them on team. And they are, again, as Colin said, they're going to start staking on Thursday. Any questions on this slide? Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the kind of wow slide. These are the 10 projects that are currently that are underway or will be underway. So again, the important ones are the 36 right here, the wastewater treatment plant, the MBR, and the concentrate discharge. If those don't happen, really nothing else happens. So you can see that those projects have been selected. We have Archer Western, which is doing current work for the 5 MGD, again, ultimately getting up to 20 additional MGD. We have Garney on the concentrate discharge and the water main. We have Kiewit, Miracle and Sons for horizontal roadway work. And again, there's the big total on the bottom, total cost $650 million. That is an estimate right now because a lot of these projects have not been bid out yet. Next slide. Okay, this is a snapshot of what has been basically invoiced. So this is our percent complete right now, generally. So you can see a lot of the work has been done on the 15 MGD. I told y'all, or I asked y'all to focus on the 36-inch, which is right there, the contract discharge, and the South MBR right here. So South MBR, for instance, it's about 30 to 60% complete right now in their drawings. And so you will start to see that spike probably about probably about 2 inches once we get the 60% design done. Okay, next slide. This is construction. So again, not much been done in construction except right here at the 5 MGD right there. And honestly, more has been done than that. This is a snapshot in time for September. But you will start to see the 36 and the South MBR increase as the months go on. Okay, next slide. There we go. So this is a lot of work that Clint and his team and Pape Dawson is supporting him, but his team really leads this and drives this process. But this is kind of a snapshot. So this is the 36-inch line coming down here this way. So these are all the land parcels that have to go into negotiation, to condemnation. They're still pending. So a lot of energy goes into this part right here, which started a long time ago. Next slide. Okay, this is not a true deep dive, but this is an interesting snapshot of one of the projects. We talked about the discharge. When you want to bring in new water, you have to clean it, and when you clean it, you produce waste. So that's the backwash of those water treatment plants at Jim Cross's plant. This is the earthen channel where this waste used to go down to the wastewater treatment plant. Now will find its way through a natural earthen channel. There's a lot of squiggly serpentine lines right here. But this will find its way all the way back naturally back to Lake Texoma. So these landowners right here will now have a 24/7, 365-day stream running through their properties. Yeah, that was one of my first questions. What can you put fish in that? The landowners cannot dam up that stream. Okay, that's all I have. Any questions, council?
Where I got on city council, I thought you just turned the faucet on. There's a whole lot more to water.
There is. Thank you.
Getting that.
Thank you.
Good job, Toby.
Thank you, Toby.
Mary, you okay with those numbers?
No, but
Okay.
No. I was going to make a comment that last presentation was Mary's Fright Fest.
Scary.
All right, at this time, we'll receive an update on the City of Sherman's ongoing project. Good evening, Nate.
Hey, Nick.
Hey. What's up, Nate?
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's great to see you all this evening. We have our thrice yearly update for you on some of the projects going on around town. I like this one. We got a couple projects that we haven't seen before in the past and a couple interesting flight plans for you to try to spice things up. Let's see if this works. Perfect. All right, so we're going to start off with the Aspire Apartments. This is behind Sam's Club. These are 234 units, as you can see, already coming along really quickly on those. They have wasted no time. But that is an exciting area of the city to be adding some multifamily, really not an area where we have any of that available at the moment. So really good project coming along very nicely, not one we've seen up to this point. Next, we're going to get a look at Hickory Hill. We did a couple befores and afters last time we did this, and we liked it so much we decided to do more this time. This is what it looked like in June 2023. This one is a pretty substantial jump in the last 4 months. As you can see, it had rained recently, but gives you an idea of what the project looked like then. And now it looks significantly different. So you see all the pad sites laid out there. There's a combination here of townhomes, of single-family homes, of multifamily apartments, all kind of a really a diverse mix of different housing types there. And then you can see how Friendship Road will lay out here. Of course, this is just the beginning of Friendship, as it will eventually extend all the way down to Highway 56 and beyond. But it gives you a real good look at how that's going to kind of fit together.
as well as a look at how the roads will be laid out for the single family there you see. And then this is the multifamily that they have going on there. And then I also wanted to point out that on the left side of the screen, as we're going to move that way, they've also laid out the stub for Lambeth Road. Of course, that will connect up with the current, what is it, Meadow Lake, as Lambeth Road continues on to 289 eventually. This is, we just flew over Dillingham, so we are flying to the north. This is the Pecan Grove Estates. Really in the early stages of development right now. This will stretch between basically Gallagher on the south and Fallon on the north. 46 acres of multifamily and 174 acres of single family. So this will be one of the largest planned developments that we have going on in our community. Quick little update on Sherman Park Apartments. We got Fairview there on the left-hand side. The pickleball courts you can see. We showed you this 4 months ago. It hasn't changed significantly, but you're starting to be able to see how the road will lay out and connect there in between McGee and Taylor, as well as some of the footprints for the buildings. All right, this is we're going to start out over Quail Run. So at the top of the screen there is the next phase of Quail Run, where they're at another 100 houses. Usually I break up all of these different videos into separate videos and we kind of just paste them all together. But I really wanted to show, here's the preserve. This is the next phase of that project, another 100 houses. I really wanted to show how much is going on in one area of the city. So I did two of these. This is the southwest flight, and this will show you everything that's going on in that part of the city as we fly over. The future Swan Ridge, whenever that gets built out, we'll connect up there. That's Texoma Christian School. And this is Hidden Meadows. Hidden Meadows is not one we've talked a lot about. We looked at it briefly last year, but they had kind of put the brakes on it. As you can see, the brakes are no longer on. This is roads going in as we speak. That's a Lennar development, so we expect that to be really nice in that addition off of 56 there to the north. Next, we'll fly over towards Sorry. That's Sorry you see at the top of the screen. This is another housing project. This is one that has had some controversy attached to it with the clear cutting. This is kind of where the whole tree issue came to a head. 233 houses going in here. These streets will not connect up to the existing neighborhood. That was something that was changed in the process in response to complaints. That'll add another significant development there next to Baker Park. As we pan back to the west, you get a look at the estates of Baker Park. We've looked at this a number of times. It's kind of been one of the more slow ones to come together, but you see it really kind of kicking into high gear now with the addition of the park, the roads coming to completion, as well as the lots being laid out. Swinging back to the south now, this is another project that this is our first look at it. This is a multifamily and a little bit of single family right off of 1417, which you see running through here. Here's Quail Run, Pebblebrook over here. So 264 apartments, which you can see are already well underway, as well as 100 single family homes. Next, we'll swing back to the east and take a look at the Grove. This will probably be one of our last looks at the Grove. It is nearing a full build out, as you'll see. That's one that we have studied a lot over the course of the past couple of years as that's come together, and you can see that they are getting very close to being done with all about 400 housing units between the apartments and the single family. Then back to the south we go for Pebblebrook Phase 4. This is another 133 lots. We always want to point out the oversized detention pond that will be kind of a community lake there. This will fill in everything in between Pebblebrook and the new high school. The road Steeplechase will connect through here, come up through there, so you'll be able to get all the way from 1417 to Interurban Parkway. And then this is going to be the next phase of that. That's included in the 133 number. And then this patch over here, that'll be apartments, that I believe the Pebble Creek Apartments. Yeah, Pebble Creek Apartments, another 200 units there coming in next to Steeplechase. And then wanted to point out two more here on this flight. Of course, Bearcat Crossing, we've had discussions about. That's going to be 15 acres of probably fast service restaurants and other types of commercial. Of course, we've already approved a mini storage unit for there. And then finally on this flight, We go over to look at Sherman Heights, which is going to be a nice mix of multifamily and single family. These tracks on the front are commercial. That was actually something we approved on this agenda here tonight. And that is kind of the big picture look at southwest Sherman at the moment. Now we go to southeast. So this is June 2023. So 4 months ago, they were already laying out streets on phase 2. But I did want to show you real briefly the major changes here. If you'll kind of get your bearings there with Movie Bowl Grill.
Hey, Nate.
Yes, sir.
Use this guy if you would. Probably just my eyes, but I can't see your dot up there.
So yeah, wanted you to make so just because we're going to change directions here in a second, I wanted you to get the Movie Bowl Grill so you can see kind of what's going on over here. This is Movie Bowl Grill. We just passed there. So now you're seeing Beach Club Boulevard come together where it'll connect up with Schulman's, as well as the beginnings of the commercial development over here, 4.5 acres. And then this patch, the green, is the only piece that hasn't been worked on yet, and that's the multifamily 3,000 apartments, as well as, of course, the lagoon. Bel Air Village Phase 2 continues to come along, as you can see with the piping, doing a lot of underground work now in anticipation of laying out those roads. We have about 330 houses in Bel Air Phase 1, and that is coming along nicely. And then, of course, up at the top of the screen, I didn't fly all the way over there, but you get the idea. We've got Phases 1 and Phase 2 of Luella Crossing, about 440 houses there. Now we'll swing to the north, flying over Bel Air Boulevard, as you see the townhomes there. We'll kick it into high gear here in a second. There we go. As we fly toward Three Oaks. Three Oaks is one we've talked about quite a bit. Continue to do work there. Phase 1 finished. Phase 2 going in at the site of the old Sherman Nursery. And then we'll look back to the west. This one we've got a ton of questions about over the course of the last couple weeks. They've done a tremendous amount of clearing and dirt moving for Travis Heights. Another 3-phase project, going to be 400 units in total. And that one, as they've moved closer and closer to the highway, is one that has become really visible. So you see as that layout kind of starts to take shape, people asking a lot of questions. Did want to point out a couple things at Sherman Crossroads. Of course, we are very all familiar with this. Whataburger under construction there on the hard corner. And also on the approval agenda for tomorrow's meeting right here next to McDonald's is a second Chipotle for the city going in right there. And we'll kick into high speed again as we fly over toward Global Wafers. Global Wafers, the little brother to the TI project, but really impressive nonetheless. This is quite a jump in 4 months, as you'll see what it looked like just a few weeks ago. This was June of 2023. We were looking at piers and a couple of small cranes. That is no longer the case, as you will soon see here. This project has really, really gone quickly over the course of the last several months. A whole building popped up. This is a several phase project, so technically 6 phases, but they're building them 2 at a time. So you're seeing phases 1 and 2 in this building. And you see the crane count there has doubled or tripled in the past 4 months as they really started to step on the gas. I'll give you one more look at it. So we've got phases 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6. All right, our obligatory text dot updates. There's Washington Meadows, of course. That's the area you guys were talking about earlier right there. 134 houses. Wanted to give you a good look at all of the completed roads that no one's allowed to drive on in the 1417 project. However, the good news is, back if you'll remember when all these projects were announced, this was slated to take an extra year beyond what Highway 75 was going to take. Based on the progress that you see here, it looks like they are probably ahead of meeting that schedule. It looks like it's probably about on pace with where Highway 75 is at. The only significant portion that remains substantially uncompleted is everything north of Lambeth, which we just passed. We can't fly all the way up there because we get into the restricted airspace of the airport. we get you as close as we can to kind of show you how they're ready to lay down some cement. Highway 75, this is the new Post Oak Creek Bridge, which shows you how quick they can build something if they really want to. That thing has popped up really quickly, as well as the Park Street Bridge right there. This is kind of that middle section that they're working on in between West Travis Street and Center Street, kind of the last major unfinished portion of the project. Of course, we've seen this develop pretty amazingly over the course of the last several years. Not a whole lot of new stuff to talk about here. Of course, all the traffic is up on the main lanes. We're able to open Highway 56 under the Highway 75, which was very big for our downtown businesses, as you know. All right there. And the new on-ramp is the completed portion of the raised highway. And then you'll see the final portion of the project, the northern portion, where they're working to construct these lanes, as well as to rework the Texoma Parkway exit, RIP exit 61, right there. And finally tonight, we're going to look at Shepherd Drive and Texas Instruments. You see this road has been closed. If you missed it, there's no longer any traffic allowed, and you see why. They are doing the clearing for 2 of the 4 lanes that will go all the way between Highway and Interurban Parkway, which we're going to fly to right there as it connects at the end of the TI site. This one already under construction, so we should begin to see real progress there as they continue to work. And then we'll take a look at Texas Instruments here. Not as much to be seen as far as changes this time. This is June of 23, so this is 4 months ago. But definitely, I want you to pay special attention to Phase 2 over here. Phase 2 did not really have much showing last time we looked at it. That's the one thing that they've really substantially changed, as well as the completion of the roof, which you'll see in just a minute. So that was 4 months ago, and we will show you what it looks like today. At some point we will. One of the things I'll point out, talk about it now before we switch over, one of the things they're working on real hard right now is the middle portion of the project, which is kind of the gangway that will connect phases 1 and 2. So this, of course, Phase 1, Phase 2 to the south, and then this piece right here is the administrative offices, and that's where the 2 phases will meet and join. So you see that they've almost finished the roof, coming along really nicely there, and then compare Phase 2 from what it was 4 months ago to what it is right now. You can see those piers are ready to be poured sooner than later. I would expect on our next update in February, we'd probably see piers standing there. Give you one last look at it. This is, of course, the most important thing that's happened in Sherman in a long, long time, so we want to make sure to give you all the angles as they continue to put it together with an expected completion in first quarter of 2025. So without any other questions, that's all we had for you.
Yay,
Good.
All right, thank you, Nate. All right, we're to council comments.
None for me.
Okay, no comments.
Council, I have a comment. I want to first thank the staff for an idea that I came up with for us to be able to donate funds back to a nonprofit organization for Breast Cancer Awareness Week. I didn't think we could get a pink trash can in here that quick, but those guys work just like the guy said earlier. When you give them an initiative, they take off and do it. I'm hoping that our citizens will be able to purchase one of these trash cans, and then that money will be donated to one of the breast cancer awareness nonprofit organizations. So I think it's going to be a great initiative, especially with all these different areas that we're developing here in Sherman with all the people coming here. So I'm hoping that we as a city will be able to help those organizations out.
Great. So it's up here for your perusal. If you want to come lift the lid and check it out.
Check it out.
All right, I have no comment.
None from me.
Yeah, I would just like to say I've been driving down 1417. I live over there, and I've seen the city crews out there mowing, and I'm not sure exactly which department is handling that, but it looks so much better. I mean, it's substantially better. And I saw those guys out there with weed eaters and like 8-foot tall weeds, just going at it until it got dark. Yep. And I mean, completely different look. So I greatly appreciate that. And then I also appreciate Councilmember Holland's idea here on helping one of the local nonprofits
Thank you.
generate money for cancer patients and having the ability to do that through those pink cans. And I have to comment on his pink tie that matches the pink cans.
That's right.
Appreciate that, Darren.
Thank you, Council. And these, from what I understand, I think we can get started on them, right?
What's that? Oh,
as far as going to the waste management and start getting them.
Mm-hmm.
Let us get the information together so that if we get inundated, we'll be able to put a list together.
Okay.
But we do have 180 of these right now in stock.
All right.
And I want to be the first on the list to get one.
I'll be number 2.
Be 3 then.
Are you going to mention the Imagine the Possibility?
Yeah, it's on the list. All right, so just a few short announcements. Join our Main Street Board in downtown Sherman tomorrow for the tour of several downtown properties that are either available for rent or will be soon. The group will meet at the Milieu Wine Bar at 5 p.m. before embarking on the walking tour. Come out and imagine the possibilities and see why we're excited about the rejuvenation of our historic downtown. We're just a few days away from our second annual Knot Summer Nights concert featuring the Gin Blossoms in Kentucky Park on Saturday. The weather looks like it'll be perfect for an evening out on the lawn, so hope to see you there with a great crowd starting at 7. Finally, tonight, be sure to mark your calendars for Trick or Treat on Travis, which will be held on October 26th at 6 p.m. It's always one of the largest Halloween events of the year, so grab the family and meet us on Travis Street next Thursday. Don't forget about Fright Fest. That's a lot of fun. Also, on this ballot in November, we have the street sales tax renewal. We need to support this. It comes up every 4 years. It helps us, and we've done dozens of miles of streets redoing those. And then also, if you're curious as to what's on the schedule, there's maps out in the foyer for you to look at. So let's let the folks who are using our streets pay for them, mainly people from outside of our city. So appreciate your support on that. So vote yes on street sales tax. All right, the City Council will now hold a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act at Section 551.071 to receive legal advice in regards to updates to the city's zoning ordinance, and at Section 551.087 to discuss the Village, Sun Communities, and Heritage Ranch. So at 6:32, we'll dismiss into executive